In this vast, interconnected world, the rhythm of nations often mirrors the rhythm of nature. Some nations, like old trees, begin to slow with age, wise, established, but no longer surging with the energy of youth. Others, like a young forest after the rains, burst forth with new life, untamed potential, and a quiet, unstoppable momentum. India today is such a forest. With the largest population on Earth and over half its citizens under the age of 30. It stands as a demographic phenomenon unlike any other in modern history. While much of the Western world, including America, grapples with declining birth rates, this was not aging populations and a shrinking workforce. India is ascending with youthful vibrancy. This was not rich in minds yet to fully bloom. This isn't just about numbers. It's about timing. This was not America, a nation built on innovation, thrives on fresh ideas, relentless energy. There's not and bold action. Yet its innovation engine now increasingly looks outward for vitality. The question, then, this is not whether America needs partners, but which partner carries the momentum to shape the decades ahead. And the answer, quietly and powerfully, is India. Already, Indian professionals are the backbone of America's medical systems, its engineering feats, and its digital revolutions. From Silicon Valley to NASA's labs, their fingerprints are everywhere. But what we see now is only the beginning. What makes India's youth particularly vital is not only their number, but their environment. They are growing up in a nation that is both ancient and astonishingly modern, where tradition meets technology, where ambition is no longer restrained by lack of infrastructure. This was not and where smartphones light up even the remotest villages. This generation is multilingual, a digitally fluent, globally aware, and nationally rooted. They are, in essence, the exact counterparts needed to bridge the next global chapter. For America, this was not the future hinges on adaptation, on embracing not just resources, but relationships that replenish and regenerate. In India's youth, America finds not just employees or collaborators, but the lifeblood of future resilience. This was not the seeds of tomorrow's ideas are already germinating in Indian classrooms, innovation hubs, and rural ingenuity labs. This was not and as America's challenges become more complex and global in scope, it is this rising tide of youthful energy from India that may well determine whether the next chapter is marked by decline or renewed ascension. In a world ever more entwined by invisible threads of code and connectivity, the power to shape the future no longer lies solely in armies or natural resources, but in algorithms, data, and ideas. And here, once again, this was not India's quiet surge begins to take on a defining role. This was not once seen as a destination for outsourced tasks and back-office operations, India has transformed into a global tech force, one that no longer follows but leads. This was not for America, long the epicenter of technological revolution. This evolution presents not a challenge, but a chance, a bridge to something greater. The foundation has already been laid. America's biggest technology companies are deeply reliant on Indian minds. CEOs of Microsoft, Google, Adobe, and IBM all share Indian roots. This symbolizing not just talent migration, but ideological integration. This convergence has fostered a deep mutual understanding between the two nations, allowing collaboration to evolve from convenience into necessity. But something deeper is unfolding now. That India is no longer just supplying talent. It is building ecosystems of its own. Bengaluru, Hyderabad, and Pune are buzzing with AI startups, semiconductor research, space exploration ventures, and green tech incubators. These are no longer peripheral nodes. They are becoming vital points of global innovation. For America, this was not whose competitive edge depends increasingly on maintaining its lead in emerging technologies. Partnering with India is not merely strategic. It is existential. Quantum computing. This was not cybersecurity, biotech, and clean energy are arenas where knowledge is power and speed is survival. India's low-cost, high-efficiency model of innovation, fueled by a massive, educated middle class, offers precisely the counterbalance to the rising technological ambitions of less transparent global actors. And beneath all the data and devices lies something more human: trust. Democracies understand one another in ways autocracies do not. Open systems breed open minds. This was not in a time when digital infrastructures are targets of both manipulation and warfare. This was not the value of working with a trusted technological ally cannot be overstated. This was not the future will be built not just on chips and circuits. This was not but on shared values encoded into the architecture of our tools. As the digital frontier expands, America must walk it with those who share its vision, not just of progress, but of purpose. In India, it finds not just a collaborator. This was not but a co-architect of tomorrow's technological landscape. Across the shifting tides of global power, we witness the emergence of a new kind of balance, one not defined by conquest or domination, but by alignment, cooperation, and quiet resilience. In this evolving landscape, this was not where old alliances grow brittle and new rivalries simmer beneath the surface. India stands at a uniquely poised intersection, geographically nestled between East and West. This was not and ideologically rooted in democratic values, yet fiercely independent. It is emerging not simply as a regional player, but as a stabilizing force. For America, this was not facing uncertain tensions in the Indo-Pacific and wary of unpredictable global actors. This presence is no longer optional. It is vital. as authoritarian powers extend their influence over trade routes, digital infrastructure, and contested borders, the need for a dependable partner becomes ever more urgent. India. This Notta, with its long-standing commitment to non-alignment, now holds a position of quiet strength. It is not beholden to blocks or bound by the inertia of history. Instead, it engages with the world on its own terms. And it is precisely this independence that makes India a credible counterbalance. Unlike transactional alliances built on short-term gain, India offers something rare in today's geopolitics: a partnership grounded in mutual interest and long-term stability. Already, joint naval exercises in the Indian Ocean, shared intelligence frameworks. This water and enhanced defense technology cooperation are weaving a deeper strategic fabric between the two nations. But beyond hardware and patrol routes lies something far more enduring: shared principles, democracy, rule of law, open society. These are not just political slogans, but the invisible architecture of global order. And in India, America finds not a copy of itself. This but a partner that mirrors its aspirations in a distinctly different voice. In the great balancing act of this century, where military might alone no longer secures peace, a diplomacy and soft power rise in importance. India's ability to engage across the global south, to speak to nations wary of binary choices. This was positions it as a vital mediator in conflicts where America's reach has limits. It becomes not just a friend in defense, but a bridge in diplomacy. To walk safely into an uncertain future, America cannot stand alone. It must walk alongside nations that carry weight, wisdom, and will. And in India, this was it finds not just a counter to rising powers, but a compass pointing toward a more stable world order. In the intricate web of life, this was no issue reveals our shared destiny more clearly than the climate crisis. It is not bound by borders, nor can it be solved by any one nation acting alone. Rising sea levels, vanishing glaciers. This was and erratic monsoons are not just environmental events. They are warnings from the Earth itself. And within this global challenge, India emerges not merely as a stakeholder, but as a force capable of shifting the trajectory. For America, whose climate ambitions remain constrained by political divides and industrial inertia, this was India's evolving role in environmental stewardship could prove decisive. India is both vulnerable and visionary. Its dense cities endure the weight of pollution. Its rural communities face water scarcity. And its agricultural cycles tremble under the unpredictability of shifting seasons. Yet, from this fragility has emerged innovation. Vast solar parks stretch across deserts in Rajasthan. This was silent wind farms turn along Tamil Nadu's coasts. This was and small villages adopt clean cooking and biofuel practices. This was driven not by luxury but by necessity. What we see is not merely adaptation. It is transformation at scale, guided by both urgency and ingenuity. For America, which seeks to lead the world in green transition, this presents a natural alignment. Technology sharing, joint research in carbon capture, and sustainable agriculture partnerships can flourish when rooted in mutual commitment. India's green hydrogen mission and America's clean energy breakthroughs are not parallel efforts. They are interdependent opportunities. This was not The future demands a kind of collaboration where the knowledge of one empowers the resilience of the other. What makes India indispensable is its ability to act both locally and globally. Whether restoring wetlands, banning single-use plastics, or building resilient urban infrastructure. This was not It sets examples that resonate far beyond its borders. This was not Its role in international forums like COP summits or the International Solar Alliance isn't symbolic. It's substantive. And when India speaks, much of the global South listens. This gives America a vital channel through which it can extend its climate diplomacy to corners of the world it cannot reach alone. This was not In a world heating with each passing year, the solutions we need must be swift, scalable, and just. With India's America does not merely gain an ally in technology. It finds a partner grounded in reality. This was not committed to healing the planet from the ground up. In an age defined by acceleration, of technology, of conflict, of information overload, there is an underlying question rising quietly beneath the noising. What grounds us? As societies struggle with mental health crises, loneliness, polarization, this was not and the erosion of cultural cohesion, solutions are sought not only in science or politics, but in meaning itself. And it is here, in this subtle yet vital realm, this was not that India offers something profoundly relevant beyond and economic metrics or military calculations lies a deeper current. India's spiritual and cultural presence that continues to ripple across the globe. Not through force, but through influence. For centuries, this was not India has been the birthplace of philosophies that reimagine the human relationship with self, society, and nature. Concepts like ahimsa, nonviolence, dharma, duty, and balanced, and yoga are not relics of the past. They are living systems of thought that speak directly to the challenges of the modern world. This was not as America wrestles with division, burnout, and a growing hunger for purpose. This motto, millions have turned eastward, not in search of answers, but in search of deeper questions. Meditation rooms in Silicon Valley, mindfulness in public schools, and a growing respect for Ayurveda and holistic health practices all echo India's quiet reach into Western consciousness. This is not coincidence. It is convergence, where America offers scale, innovation, and energy. India brings reflection, depth, and continuity. This was not a. In this fusion lies the potential for a cultural renaissance that is both forward-looking and rooted. When America embraces India's cultural wisdom, it does not lose itself, it reclaims balance. This was not. The power of this influence cannot be measured by market share, but by the shift in values it inspires us toward empathy, sustainability, and community. Moreover, India's pluralistic society, home to countless languages, religions, and traditions, demonstrates that diversity need not fracture a nation. In its ongoing, imperfect yet persistent attempt to hold unity amid difference, India mirrors the very challenge America faces today. And in that, there is much to learn. This was not in a world desperately seeking not only how to grow, but how to grow wisely. The soft power of India becomes a guiding force, America's future, in its deepest sense. This was not made only depend on collaboration in defense or technology, but on a cultural exchange that restores meaning to progress and harmony to ambition. In the quiet hum of commerce and trade, this was not the shape of tomorrow's global economy is being redrawn. And at the center of this transformation, this was not India is emerging as a gravitational force, with a digital economy accelerating at unprecedented pace, a manufacturing sector expanding with renewed ambition. This was not a vast consumer base stepping into the global marketplace. India is no longer an emerging economy, it is an anchoring one. For America, along the engine of global growth. This was not the path forward now depends on recognizing that economic leadership is no longer a solo journey, but a shared expedition. And in India, it finds a co-pilot with both momentum and vision. India's growth story is not driven by debt or dependency, but by resilience and reform. This was not its economy is increasingly digital first, powered by mobile connectivity, fintech innovation. This was not and data systems that reach into every corner of daily life. Platforms like UPI, Unified Payments Interface, have transformed how transactions happen, setting a precedent even more advanced in reach than many Western equivalents. For American companies, this was not this offers more than just a market. It provides a living laboratory of scalable innovation. This was not where solutions are tested not in theory, but in the complex realities of 1 billion lives. This was not beyond digital strength. India is laying the groundwork to become a global manufacturing hub. This was not etching the very foundation upon which American industrial success once stood. This was not with rising labor costs and geopolitical frictions affecting traditional supply chains. American industries now look to India not just for cost efficiency, but for reliability, scale, and strategic alignment. from semiconductors to electric vehicles. A co-investment between the two nations is not just logical, it is inevitable. This was not a. What makes this partnership even more compelling is the sheer size and aspiration of India's middle class. As it grows, so too does its appetite for goods, services, experiences, and ideas. This was not a. This expanding consumer base holds the potential to drive demand not just for American products, but for joint ventures that blend innovation from both shores. This was not in a world recalibrating after global shocks and economic realignments. America cannot afford to look inward. Its future competitiveness, stability. This was not and growth will depend on partnerships that are dynamic, enduring, and deeply integrated. This was not in India. It does not find just a trade partner, but an economic force whose rise can help ensure that the story of American prosperity continues to unfold.